This is America Weather Streaming Meteorologist Chris Sramek with this week's High Plains Changing Times Ag Weather Forecast. Last week, with a ridge in the east and a trough out west, set the stage for heavy 6 to 12 inch snows across the northern plains, and then over the weekend, a system streaked from Colorado to Minnesota with lighter 1 to 5 inch amounts in most locations, with the exception of Denver and the Rockies, where up to a foot fell. In addition, very cold air surged south out of Canada all the way into northern Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, with freezing temperatures, and locally we went all the way from 80 degrees early in the week to 10 degrees over the weekend, with 3 days of fog and chilly conditions in between. So in October, we saw an El Niño pattern and a Pacific hurricane bring 2 to 6 inches of moisture across Texas, Oklahoma, and eastern Kansas from showers and storms prior to the cold snap and snow here to end the month. As a result, the U.S. winter wheat crop is showing sharp improvements in these states compared to a year ago. The Texas wheat crop boasts a 41% good to excellent total, much higher than last year's 4% good to excellent, while Oklahoma wheat crop rates it at 42% good to excellent compared to only 11% a year ago, and the Kansas wheat crop is rated at 32%, a full 8 points more than the 24% good to excellent we saw last year at this same time. A zonal jet pattern over the central and northern plains looks like it will hold through mid-November before we get some deeper waves coming from the west and northwest that could bring some moisture and cold air to mix things up with some winter storm activity over the last half of the month. This pattern will lead to warmer than normal temperatures and dry conditions locally, and that will allow the 25% of corn and milo still out in the fields to get harvested. This pattern is not your typical El Niño, which generally has an active southern subtropical jet tracking through the southern U.S. with increased chances for moisture. We will need one of these deeper waves later in the month to cut off and bring some moisture over the Rockies and into the high plains to keep that winter wheat crop in that good to excellent condition. This concludes this week's High Plains Changing Times Ag Weather Forecast. To stay updated on weather affecting your long-range or daily farm plans, you can now subscribe to America Weather Streaming channel to receive daily forecasts and updates through email, a weather phone app, and expanding YouTube channel with weather information and education from 14 professional meteorologists located across the country.